Uh-oh. Hopefully I'm, yep, there we go. Well, not sure here. Guys, I'm having problems with my stream here. Be right back here real quick. Need to find out. Okay, looks like that's resolved there. So hopefully, I'm going to go ahead and do this here. We're going to get our King's Quest 6 on here. There we go there. Had a little bit of audio issues there, so let's go ahead and do the opening here.
Long ago, in the castle of a kingdom called Daventry.
Alexander, here you are. Oh, you're still not thinking about Cosima, are you?
I suppose I am.
Son, it's been months. You've got to pull
Gotta
yourself
love
together.
those
After all,
1993
you only met
graphics.
her that once.
I know.
Have you discovered anything about the land of the Green Isles?
No. No one's even heard of it. It's like she's just vanished.
I wish I could help. Please try to think about something else, dear.
I'll try, Mother.
Alexander, I feel so alone. I don't know what to do. Alexander, I wish you were here. Alexander, Alexander, Alexander.
Cosima! Wait! Mother! Mother, come quick!
Alexander,
God,
what
this
on
is-
earth? Your wife
We've
is
come
ghost.
so far.
I
We
saw
have
Cosima.
come so
She was in the
far.
mirror.
In the mirror? The magic mirror?
Yes! And it showed me how to find her.
This is considered one of the best
The
games, though. I will say that. It is a
I
great
saw
game.
the stars outside her window. I can navigate by the stars.
Oh, Alexander, if you really go,
It will be all right, Mother. I promise.
You know, it kind of begs the question, what were they using to actually render all these
months, Prince
3D
Alexander
graphics?
sailed the known seas and beyond.
Land ho! Land ho! Land
the shore. Day turns to night, and the sea turns violent.
Heck yeah.
Alexander awakens to find himself on an unfamiliar beach. For a moment, he is too dazed to remember how he got here. Then, he does remember. The shipwreck, the sea. Just as he had seen his men safely into the lifeboats, a gigantic wave picked him up and tossed him overboard into the churning sea. That was the last he'd seen of his crew. Debris from the shipwreck is scattered along the shore, but of the lifeboats and his men, there is thankfully no trace. He can only hope and pray that the lifeboats survived the currents, and that his men made their way safely back to Daventry.
Alrighty. Let's get the speed up here, because I do not like to wait.
Alexander picks up his royal insignia ring from the beach. Alexander pushes the plank to one side. A box has been partially buried under sand.
Get that.
Alexander takes the coin and leaves the ruined box where it is.
Walk to the castle there.
Alexander politely addresses the odd-looking guards at the castle doors, hoping to learn more about his predicament.
Good day to you, guards. I was cast upon this island in a storm,
Hello to
and
my
I'm
first
a little
viewer.
confused about my location. Could you tell me what place this is and who lives in this castle?
Hey, what is that you say? A castaway? A likely story. We haven't had any foreigners in this part since Alhazred arrived.
Don't be so rude, Gruff. He's not asking for any secrets. You're standing on the Isle of the Crown, lad, and this is the Castle of the Crown. The royal family resides here. Rather, what's left of the royal family.
The Isle of the Crown? But tell me, am I anywhere near the land of the Green Isles?
This is the land of the Green Isles. The Isle of the Crown is the main island, foolish boy.
Then Princess Cassima must live in this very castle.
Aye, the princess is indeed our treasured jewel to guard, and we consider it an honor.
Excuse me, guardsmen, guard dogs. I've been traveling for months to see Princess Cassima. I would like an audience, please.
I'm sorry, but the princess is not receiving visitors, particularly not strangers.
Righty.
Alexander decides to show his royal insignia ring to the Castle of the Crown guards. With all of his papers lost in the shipwreck, it is the only possible calling card he can think of.
Good day. I'm Prince Alexander of Daventry. I'm an acquaintance of Princess Cassima. If you could just inform her that I'm here, please.
So everyone says. Let me just look at that ring.
What does it say, Gruff?
Kingdom of Daventry, Prince Alexander. Wait here while I go see what Captain Saladin thinks of this.
The guard returns a moment later with a majestic-looking creature. Captain Saladin speaks with a voice that is gentle, but reflects a will of iron.
Prince Alexander of Daventry, I presume. I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with your country, but I'm sure Wizir Alhazred will want to meet you, if indeed you are a friend of the princess. Please, follow me.
We got a cinematic movie here.
Lord Alhazred, a visitor to see you. Prince
Well, not
Alexander
exactly.
of Daventry.
What is it that you seek, Prince Alexander?
Pardon the intrusion, my lord, but I came to see Princess Cassima. Some months ago, my father, King Graham, saved my family and I from imprisonment under an evil wizard named Mordak.
The same wizard that kidnapped the princess?
Exactly. When my father rescued us, he also liberated Cassima and sent her home.
Then your father has my gratitude, and that of the entire kingdom. But I'm afraid I still fail to see the purpose of your visit.
Well, I came to make sure that Cassima arrived safely and to pay my respects. Before we parted, she gave me an invitation to visit.
I have no doubt she did exactly that at the time, Prince Alexander. However, things have greatly changed for Cassima since her ordeal in Mordak's castle. Cassima's parents both became ill and died while she was gone. Cassima is sequestered in mourning for them as befits a princess. She is not receiving visitors of any kind. Even if she were, I do not think your visit would be appropriate. You see, it is time for Cassima to take her responsibilities seriously. With her parents gone, she no longer has the luxury to be a carefree maiden. As was her parents' wish, Cassima and I are to be wed. We shall rule the kingdom together. I assure you, our marriage is all Cassima wants now. As a prince and a gentleman, it would be best that you leave before there is any further embarrassment.
I see. I suppose that I was mistaken. I thought for certain that Cassima... Well, I apologize.
A young man sees what he wishes to see. I'm sorry you've wasted your time traveling to the land of the Green Isles. May your journey home be swift.
Perhaps I will take the opportunity to look around your fair land while I'm here.
I would advise against that. The kingdom is rather, shall we say, inhospitable these days. But it is your neck. You may risk it if you please. Captain Saladin will escort you from the castle. Good day.
You have had your hearing with Wizir Alhazred. I trust you'll respect his wishes and not return. I have been instructed not to let you into the castle again. Good day, my lord.
Captain Saladin whispers something to the guard dogs at the castle gate, and they nod with understanding. Alexander has a feeling they won't be letting him into the castle again.
Absolutely not. Let's go explore. As with all adventure games, in order to succeed, steal everything that's not nailed down, use everything on everything else, pixel hunt, and save often. Hold on, gotta wait for it.
Old lamps for new. Old lamps for new.
Just like music to my ears.
Good day.
Good day, merchant. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I can tell you she is in a dark time. Without the ferry, communication between the islands has ground to a halt, and so nearly has my business. Why the long ages of peace have ended, and why the crown has not done something about it is beyond me. But then, I am a shopkeeper, not a politician, and can only hope for better days.
How bide you, good merchant?
Quite well, though a purchase would not hurt me any.
Well then, let's buy something.
I have this copper coin. Is it of any value to you at all?
Most interesting. I have never seen a Daventry coin before, but it is copper genuine enough. I might even find a buyer who is interested in foreign currency. The items on the front counter are the only things in the store that I can let go for the price of 1 copper. You may make your choice from there.
Alexander looks at the items on the counter to make his selection.
Let's see here, I want
That
the...
mechanical nightingale looks intriguing. I believe I'll take it.
Very well. Your coin is well spent. Remember, this is a pawn shop. I am always willing to take back my own goods in trade.
I'll remember. Thank you.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
Alexander picks up the book from the small table.
Oh, yes, please, take that book. You have my most humble thanks for doing so, good sir.
Really? Thanks. Good day, sir.
The mysterious old man just ignores Alexander.
Good day, sir. I'm a stranger in this land. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
That is quite a question, young man. Who are you, and what would you have me tell you?
My name is Alexander. I know I'm on the Isle of the Crown, but I'd like to know whatever you can tell me about this island, and if there are other islands nearby.
You are indeed a stranger. Anxious is the man who knows not the customs of the land beneath his feet. This island is called the Isle of the Crown, because the royal family's castle is here. Besides the castle, we also have this village, and the docks over to the west. There are at least 3 other islands: the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, the Isle of the Beast, and the Isle of Wonder.
At least 3? Does no one know for certain?
This is no ordinary land, Alexander. The land of the Green Isles has always been a place of vague boundaries, as if islands come and go. Legend speaks of a 4th island, an isle shrouded in mists. I myself have never seen it. Then, too, the land of the Green Isles is said to exist on the boundaries of this world and the next. Even darker places are reputed to be closer here than anywhere else in the world.
That's quite a claim.
Claim, yes, but probably just local superstition. We who live here on the Isle of the Crown, at least, sleep well enough at night.
Those first 3 islands you mentioned, how might I learn more about them?
Ideally, a young man seeking such knowledge would travel to their shores and learn about them firsthand. Meeting the leaders of each place would be helpful, naturally. Unfortunately, the ferry no longer runs between the islands. There has been much political unrest, and it has been too dangerous to travel for years.
Hey,
Perhaps
Rubber
the
Jet.
ferryman can tell you more. He
Nothing
has
much, just
little
playing some
enough to
King's
do
Quest.
these days. And if you haven't been there already, you might seek an audience
This
at
is
the
actually
castle.
like my
Thank you
favorite genre
kindly,
of game,
merchant,
believe it or
for
not.
all your good advice.
Ah, but advice is free, Alexander. Making use of it costs much more.
How fare you, merchant?
I have been reading too much love poetry lately. It is rather depressing to an old bachelor like me.
I hope the audio sounds okay, because that's one thing that I always worry about. Lately I've been having audio issues whenever
Alexander decides to leaf through one of the volumes of love poetry. He reads, "Thy hair, thy lips, thy beauteous face, and all thy studied female grace have won for thee anon a place within this broken breast." Not bad. And another. "Upon the shore the lilies bend, untouched by worldly care, where shadow they her earthly bed, oh, that she were not there." Yikes. And another. "What was it when I looked at you? What power has chained me through and through, and binds my heart with links so tight, I cannot live without the sight of you? What nameless thing has captured me, and made me powerless to flee? What thing is it without a name, that brings my mind e'er back the same to thee? The name of love cannot apply, its commonness does not decry the haunted, hunted, painful cry that my heart makes for you, that e'er my soul eternal makes for you."
A little close to home, that one.
Alexander returns the love poem book to the shelf.
So
Alexander
Rubberjet
picks up the fallen page.
The key to being successful at
It's
all
the love poem he
adventure
particularly
games.
liked. It must have fallen out of the poetry book.
That is,
I see that old volume has lost another page. You may keep it if you like, sir. I have glued the stubborn thing back in place 2 times already.
I do rather like it. Thank you, merchant.
So the way to be successful on all adventure games without having a walkthrough is this. Number 1, steal everything that's not nailed down. And I'm not joking. Like anything that can be taken.
Old lamps for new. Old lamps for new.
That's this guy right here. But anything that can't be taken, steal it. Those items that you take, use everything that you take on everything else. Pixel hunt. Sometimes you have to find like a certain pixel or whatever to get you over that hump. And then 4, save often. Now the thing is that I played this game so many times and all this stuff, so I've got it by memory as far as how to beat it and all that.
You lazy thing! Get back to work and stay away from those roses! I've told you 1,000,000 times, those flowers are too sweet for the likes of you! You've still got to do the breakfast dishes, make lunch, and clean the stables yet this morning!
Ah,
and
yes!
get your veil back on! No one wants to look at your face!
Yes,
I haven't played
stepmother.
the Fate of Atlantis all the way through and all that, but that'll probably be one of the next games that I actually pick up.
Hey, stranger, come join me. The water is wonderful, and I can show you the way to the next island.
Good day. I'm Alexander. What are you doing in the sea?
What does it look like I'm doing? I'm swimming. I mean, come join me. The water's wonderful. I can show you the way to the next island. Come on, jump in. A little water won't hurt you.
That's strange. The young boy in the water just disappeared. Oh well, perhaps he just dove under the water.
Yeah, what do you want?
Excuse me. My name is Alexander.
Hello to my
The
second
owner of
viewer.
the bookshop in the village told me you might be able to help me. I hear you used to run this ferry for the islands. I'd like to talk to you.
Feel
if
free
you
to
have
join
a
in the
moment.
chat. I
You
can
say
see everything
old
that's
Allie
being said
sent ya?
here.
I can't see why. The ferry's not running, you know.
I understand. I'd just like to talk to you about the islands if you don't mind.
Well, I guess it'd be all right if Allie sent you. Well, don't just stand there. Come on inside. What is it you wanted to talk about, young man?
I see you have a rabbit's foot. Has it brought you much luck?
As you can see, my luck's been out for some time now, despite that old charm. Why don't you take it with you? Perhaps giving the darn thing away will bring me good fortune at last.
Perhaps it will at that. Thank you. I'm a visitor to these islands. I'd like to learn what I can about the area.
So you said outside. What is it you want to know?
Well, for one thing, why has the island's
Yes.
only ferry been dried up?
Yes.
Huh. It just ain't safe to sail these days. What with the islands feuding and all. Wazir Al-Hazred ordered the ferry closed till things settled down. Me, I don't think she'll ever see water again.
So before the game Doom, the
Why
first-person
are the
shooter
islands
Doom,
feuding?
these
You got
games were
me.
actually the most
Something about
popular
stolen
genre
property
of
or some
games
such
on
thing. 'Tis a real
PC.
shame.
Adventure
Things used to be
games,
so
puzzle
friendly.
games.
Then this unrest is recent.
A few years is all, but it's been long enough.
Perhaps if the ferry were
And then
repaired...
Doom
This
screwed
old
everything
thing,
up.
This
Thank
ferry's
you,
been
John
out of water
Romero.
so long she's no longer even
Nah, don't get me wrong, I
seaworthy.
love Doom 2.
Her boards have dry rot.
Actually,
She'd
I
fall
love
apart
Doom
at the
2 better
first
than I do
taste of
Doom 1.
seawater.
But there
I do
must
like
be
Doom.
some way to get
I
off
do
this
like Doom.
island.
There's only one other way to travel that I know of. A magic map. The owner of the pawn shop can tell you more about that than I can, Alexander.
Alrighty.
Well, I think I'll be going now. Thanks for allowing me into your home.
Posh, not at all. It breaks the boredom, if you know
Oh,
what I
I've got
mean.
that one. I actually have that one too. That is another good. Someone needs to just like, what are the best adventure games? Because Full Throttle is really good. That is a very good one.
Good day.
Good day, sir.
The old man just glares at Alexander and does not reply. Alexander takes a mint.
Excuse me, merchant, but the ferryman mentioned that you might have a magic map of the land of the Green Isles.
Why, as a matter of fact, I do. I keep it under the counter. It's been gathering dust so long that I nearly forgot about it. It was quite a few years ago, you see. The estate of a wealthy wizard fell into my hands when he died. It was useless magical junk mostly, which reminds me, I've still got some things of his in the back that I need to dump out. Anyway, the magic map was the one true treasure in the lot. The wizard was quite old and feeble and had enchanted the map to aid in traveling. It is said that one need only desire to be on an island depicted on the map to find oneself there. It is a very valuable map, as you can imagine. Unfortunately, no one is interested in traveling these days. It is far too dangerous with the current state of the kingdom.
What would you take for the map?
I would normally want something magic in return, but since I am hardly overrun with prospective buyers, I would be willing to take anything of equal value in exchange.
Well then, how about this?
Would you be willing to take my family ring in exchange for the magic map?
Daventry, are you a king then?
No, that's my father, King Graham. I'm just Alexander.
Well, Prince Alex, she is a beautiful ring. Are you sure you can part with such a unique family heirloom?
The ring does mean a lot to me. I didn't always have a family, you know. Still, it is only gold. There are more important things at stake now.
Then you now own a magic map, Prince Alex. I will keep your ring out of sight for a few days. If you find anything else of great value in your travels, you can come back for your ring. I would hate to see it melted down for gold. Ah, and a warning about the map. It will only operate when you are out in the open and within sight of the sea. The limitation has something to do with the teleport spell ingredients. You might try the beach.
Thank you. You are very kind, and I'll remember about the map.
Suddenly, the old man in the concealing cloak sneaks past Alexander, and with a sneaky dart of his hand, steals a mint from the candy jar. The old man stuffs the mint into his mouth and wobbles unsteadily out of the pawn shop.
Master! I followed Prince Alexander as you wished. From the pawn shop owner, he just abstained, just reprieved. He just got a magic map. You fool! You've been eating those mints again. I ordered you to stop that! Yes, Master. Now, what is this about a magic map? With a map, Prince Alexander could travel anywhere as quickly as I can. I thought I took care of the only means of travel. By my scimitar, I can't have him stirring things up now. Get a hold of yourself and listen carefully, Shamir. Go to the other islands and tell them...
Alrighty. Let's use this magic map. Get out of this joint. See here?
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
That's a good question. If you
Alexander picks the flower and is
basically
startled by its
click
hideously
through
strong,
and not
skunk-like
listen to
odor.
like every
For a
single
moment,
thing
he
and
can
whatnot.
smell nothing else.
Not too long, probably
Alexander
about 2-3
takes the
hours.
feather.
But to like listen to all the audio, it just depends. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be beating this tonight. I've been playing for looks like about 33 minutes and all that. So
Alexander
it does
pulls
take some
out his
time to
magic
actually
map.
finish these games. What I might do is this, since I'm doing basically a playthrough, I am going to
Alexander
actually...
feels a strange pulling sensation.
What I am going to do is there's actually alternate endings. The quick ending and the quick ending and then the best ending and all that. So probably I'm going to just do both. But I'm not going to be doing that tonight. There'd be no way I'd be probably here until like
Alexander sorts through the odds
midnight.
and ends that the pawn shop owner dumped into the pot. Magic exploding gum wrappers, a shattered crystal ball, a cracked wand, a fake thumb. Near the bottom, Alexander finds a little glass bottle labeled ink. It appears to be empty, but Alexander decides to take it anyway. You never know when a small bottle will come in handy.
Yeah. You want to know something, what I think is going to be funny? Because I've already seen this, actually. Apparently on Twin Galaxies,
Alexander
there's a dude
pulls out
who
his
actually
magic map.
speed ran Maniac Mansion and like completed the game in less than 9 minutes. Which
Alexander
is
feels a
freaking
strange
crazy.
pulling sensation.
I've actually tried doing it too. The best that I've actually gotten is, I believe, just under 17 minutes. So, you know, the timing in that game is like really, really precise. But there literally is a track on Twin Galaxies for
Why aren't you asleep like
Speedrunning.
the other oysters?
for adventure games.
I'm so weary,
Yeah.
but I can't sleep.
Yeah, the NES version, I believe, is what he actually did it on.
In my mouth.
But it's like something crazy, like under 9 or 8 minutes. And I don't even know how that's even possible. I'd like to see the video on it. That's what I really love to see, but...
What's wrong with your mouth?
No offense, but it hurts too much to talk.
So, let's...
If you're having
read.
trouble sleeping, perhaps you'd like me to read to you.
Hey, that would be great.
2 dulcimers raised to the degree of 40 half-dulcimers, divided into equal parts by the third of a cackle of grouse geese, put over the result of 10 fine mackles, albeit small fine mackles, stretched over the total of 53 1/8 bottles of wild beast lard.
Alexander sees nothing of interest on that part of the oyster.
Yields a gilded minnow of precise measurements, 2,069 centidrills by 3,023 6/7 puns, not punts, as might be expected. This is not to say, however, in any sense whatsoever, that deviations in mean temperature of 5 or 6 dregs or so.
Alexander makes a grab for the pearl.
Hey! You fixed my mouth! It feels great!
Ah, the little oyster drifts into peaceful slumber with the rest of his oyster friends.
I'm going to save here real quick because there is something funny I actually want to do. Let's see here. Rat 1. So let me see here. Let me make sure that I've got everything here. Got the bird, got the ink, got the... Yep. Yeah, we should be able to go. Because we're going to be dealing with the guards.
Alexander hears someone coming.
I want to do something here really funny. Because I'll tell you this much, when you do things wrong in an adventure game, the results are
Fierce guards of the isle we be. Watch for a foreign man, said he, with ears and nose, tongue, hands, and eyes. Its nature cannot be disguised. If mad it be, then mad it dies. Old Tom Troll, smell your smell. Do that which you do so well.
So let's see here. Flower of Stench.
Alexander holds the flower of stench out to the gnome with the jumbo nose.
Tom Troll I am, that's all I'll be. My nose knows all on land and sea. A flower of stench has washed ashore. A flower 'tis all, and nothing more. Listen, hark you, Grosvenor. Do your duty as you swore. With your ears, please tell us more.
Alrighty, I'm going to use this boring book on the...
Alexander holds the item out for the gnome with the immense ears.
My ears can hear nothing so clear as the sound of a man standing here.
Ah, dang. Sorry about that, I had to restore because I would have instantly died. Sometimes you'll get like a weird, if you use like a particular item with it's just unexpected.
Watch for a foreign man, said he, with ears and nose, tongue, hands, and eyes. Its nature cannot be disguised. If mad it be, then mad it dies. Old Tom Troll, smell your smell. Do that which you do so well.
Alright, Flower of Stench.
Alexander holds the flower of stench out to the gnome with the jumbo nose.
And I'll click through here.
Tom Troll. Listen, hark you, Grosvenor. Do your duty as you swore. With your ears, please tell us more.
Alrighty.
Alexander winds the tin nightingale and plays it for the gnome with the monumental ears.
A nose is not a way to spy. My ears cannot be told a lie. A nightingale is all there be. No man is near, and so say me. Taste, Grump, that we might know whether friend or whether foe.
Alright, so taste.
Alexander holds the mint out for the gnome with the gigantic mouth.
Grump knows a tasty treat. It matters not what others bleat. No danger is this one so sweet.
93, I believe. 1993. So,
use your
really, I think it's in between, somewhere between 92 and 94. No later than 94. But I do believe it's 93. In fact, actually, I think like for...
Alexander holds the rabbit foot out for the gnome with the huge hands.
I think that 1993 was actually like...
Be all you mad?
From what I remember reading and all that, was like a golden year. Like that was like probably the pinnacle of adventure games. Because you had like a lot of good things coming from LucasArts. You had obviously Sierra Online was at its peak with King's Quest, Leisure Suit Larry's Space Quest. So I gotta use this here, the ink. Oops, nope.
Alexander pours the contents of the empty-looking ink bottle over himself.
It's actually an interesting thing. That really, I think, you know, if I would like to do, like, if I was to write a book, do like some type of retrospect or something like that on point-and-click adventure games.
There at all, I say.
This obviously is up at the top. I mean, you've got Monkey Island, you've got the King's Quest series, Full Throttle's up there, of course. Trying to think of what else. God, King's Quest, Leisure Suit Larry.
Alexander did it. He's
Monkey
Island.
You know, just like in that time, I would say in between like 1990, like where like adventure games like really shot up. Oh God, the Gabriel Knight series, Gabriel Knight Sins of the Father. That's another great one. Freaking great, actually. Got the voice of Tim Curry and Mark Hamill, and yeah, just like that point, like that range of like 1990 to 1995, maybe even go up to even 96, because then you had some good ones like Torrens Passage, Phantasmagoria, which nobody had done anything like that before at all. The digitizing of people. Which like literal, like just like turning people into sprites and putting them into an adventure game. Granted, it had been done like in a police quest, but yeah, just so many. Dogwood.
Apparently, the dogwood tree doesn't like Alexander standing there.
Probably the peak for adventure games, if I had to put a year on it, would be probably about 93 or maybe 1994. And then like whenever Doom was released, Doom was the killer app that got a lot of people into PCs, into computers and all that. And not just because of the fact that I'm gonna actually take
Alexander
this iceberg.
picks a head of iceberg lettuce.
Yeah, Phantasmagoria, probably one of the most controversial scenes in a adventure game. I never played it.
Hey, what do you think you're doing there? Get your hands off me! Hey!
That's funny.
Alexander picks up Rotten Tomato and puts him away. One never knows when one will need a Rotten Tomato.
But yeah, Phantasmagoria, really good one. And then one that was another one that was identical to Phantasmagoria. Oh man, I forgot to get that thing.
Alexander does.
I think I screwed up.
Alexander.
Oh well. I'll get it later. But anyways, no, just that range, just 93 was like the last good year, and then Doom came out, got a lot of people into
Alexander
PCs and all that, and of course, these type of games did not cater to the new people that got into computers.
The pond's water slowly stops boiling, cooled by the ice. It still looks hot, but bearable. Alexander decides to brave the steaming pond.
Ouch! Ow! Ooh, 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 ouch!
Now I will
The
say
pond
this
is
though.
no longer boiling, but it's
I do know
hardly
that
bathwater.
they did something interesting because, like, a lot of people said,
Alexander
well, the
takes the
popularity
old
of
hunter's
point-and-click
lamp from the
adventure games
tree.
went down whenever Doom got introduced. But what happened is that
As Alexander continues down the path, he gets the strange feeling that he's being watched.
Come on over here and see what I'm doing with these flowers. Never mind that stone fella on top of the gate. He won't hurt you any. He's just there to scare you.
Alexander picks up the brick.
I'm Alexander of Daventry. Who are you?
What difference does it make? Just come on over here. I'll tell you my life history if you still want to hear it.
Well, anyway, sorry about that, Rubber Jet. I got distracted there, so I'm
You
gonna
aren't
leave
gonna
here.
listen to
'Cause
me,
it's
are
just
you?
the genie.
Well,
We already know who
we'll
it is.
just see about that.
That's odd. The gardener just disappeared.
Alrighty.
Alexander pulls out
Anyways,
his
I think it would be a
magic
good
map.
idea to just do a book on that. But anyways, back to what I was saying is that whenever adventure games got pushed out in favor of like games like first-person shooters like Doom, Quake, things of that nature, I mean, there were several things that were happening. I mean, computers became more a part of our lives in the 90s than they were previously. Like, for my family, we didn't get a personal computer. Yeah, it's the same guy, actually.
Alexander feels a
It's the
strange
genie.
pulling sensation.
But what's interesting is that the number of the population of like adventure gamers was at a certain population back in like the early mid 90s. And I remember they did something where they did like a poll or something like that, and they noticed that the population of adventure gamers had pretty much stayed the same. So what happened is that whenever Doom came out on the PC, whenever you started having first-person shooters, that genre of game, the FPS, actually brought in a whole new population into PC gaming. Well, what happened is that adventure gamers, you know, like myself, we always were there. You know, we didn't leave. Adventure games didn't lose popularity. What happened is just that a new population of gamers came in, and all the money started going towards companies like id Software and anybody else that actually made first-person shooters. That was just the popular thing. And then, of course, 3D gaming. I mean, you started having things like I need to get that. Definitely need to get that.
Alexander picks up the object floating in the water. It appears to be a string of letters. They say, "Where are you going?" Alexander decides to keep the odd sentence, even though it is incomplete.
Oh, I just thought of something funny here. But anyways, the number of adventure gamers, the population stayed relatively the same between the mid-90s and up until like whenever that poll was done in like 2010. So the population of adventure gamers increased slightly, but you got to think the demographics, or I don't know if that's the proper word, but the type of people that played games on their computer preferred FPS as opposed to games like this, because these games, you got to think about, you know, there is not much change. Granted, there's some value to like going in and clicking through and using odd things like odd items and all this stuff to see if you can get a reaction. In fact, actually, I found one that I never even knew of, which was later on in the game, much later, but it'll be for another night. But anyways, let's check out this Black Widow here.
Wow. Hiya, gorgeous. Oh, what a luscious-looking hunk of flesh you are.
But yeah, that would be an interesting thing to like.
Thank you.
Do like a
I
book
guess.
on or a paper
Who are
or
you?
something like that. Like
How
that.
charming of you to
'Cause,
pretend not to know. I'm Black Widow, of course. The femme fatale
Hey.
of all yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, we are still here. I mean, the adventure gamers are still here.
You know,
But I do understand, though, that for some people that this is something that requires an investment of time, and it's not about skill, it's about thinking through things.
I mean, an honor to have me as a bride.
And also,
Just look at
the
my
humor.
beautiful weaving.
The humor of these
It's so
games, I mean, are
light,
just
so
top
delicate.
notch.
You'll never want to leave my little nest.
It is a lovely web, but my heart is elsewhere, I'm afraid.
Oh, drat! I mean, the loss is yours. I'm sure you'll change your mind once you consider the advantages.
Hey, don't touch that thread!
Alexander snatches the scrap of parchment, curious to see what's written on it. The wind blows the scrap of paper from Alexander's hand, but he remembers what it said well enough.
Alrighty.
Hey, hands off the goods there, son.
Oh, sorry. Hello? Is anyone there in the books?
No, there's no one here.
Piles of stuff.
Hey, hands off the goods there, son.
Oh, sorry.
Can't remember. How do I initiate a conversation with this guy? Maybe this?
There's no reason to use that on a pile of books. There's no reason.
Hey, hands off the goods there, son.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I know what I need to do. It's if then and all that. I need to actually go back.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Okay.
Your candy dish is empty.
I am sorry, sir, but I have no more mints. Somebody has eaten them all.
Well, get some more then.
I fear that is impossible. Without the ferry, I can no longer get imports from the other islands, and we do not grow mint extract on the Isle of the Crown.
Oh, I hate not
Alright, you
getting
have a
what
good
I
one,
want.
Roverjet. I'm probably just going to go ahead and call it a night here. Take it easy, sir.
I found this large pearl. Might it be valuable enough to ransom back my family ring?
I have never seen such a perfect pearl. Certainly you can have your ring back.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't sell it. I'm a bit
it
attached
easy.
to it, I'm afraid.
Of course you are. You would be cold-hearted if you felt any differently. I am happy to see a family heirloom back with its rightful owner.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
How much for that book on the counter, merchant?
It is a fine book, is it not? I obtained it from the estate of the one and only magician this kingdom has ever had. Poofed himself into an aardvark in the end, or so I heard. I never found the spells all that useful myself, but then I lead a boring life. I tell you what, if you can find another rare book, something a bit more marketable, I might be willing to exchange the spelled book for it.
Good day, sir. Is there anything you can tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I'm sorry, but I have no time for idle conversation. I'm too worried about the princess.
Excuse me again, sir. You mentioned the princess.
I told you I'm not interested in talking to strangers.
Excuse me again, sir. You mentioned the princess.
I told you I'm not interested in talking to strangers.
Okay.
Determined to learn more about the strange man's relationship with the princess, Alexander shows the man his insignia ring and formally introduces himself.
I'm sorry to insist, but my name is Alexander of Daventry, and...
I appreciate the offer of the ring, Alexander, but I'm afraid I'm already spoken. Daventry? Where have I heard of Daventry? Flying flit mice. You must be Prince Alexander. Cosima told me about you when she arrived home. How came you here?
Why, by a ship now wrecked upon the sand. But you know Cosima? She truly spoke of me?
Yes, I saw her briefly when she first returned home. She mentioned a prince to me, the Prince Alexander of Daventry. I'm afraid that was before she was told about her parents' deaths. You see, she arrived home a few weeks too late. The king and queen thought they'd never see her again. It is said they died of heartbreak. I'm afraid she's blamed herself.
What a terrible homecoming. If we had only known.
Terrible indeed, poor thing. Everyone in the kingdom seems to despair with her these days. The streets are silent.
Where is she now?
The princess is sequestered in mourning. It's a rather dated tradition, and not required, but the Wazir says she insisted out of respect.
I see. You've yet to say who you are, and how you know the princess.
I? Oh, pardon me. My name is Charlo. I am clown to the royal court, and had been since the marriage of Cosima's parents, King Caliphim and Queen Alaria. Oh, those were the happy days. The pair of them were so full of joy and life, so in love. And Cosima's birth. It would be hard to explain how long they had waited, how they had hoped for a child. I mean, she was such a charming little thing, smart as a whip, kind and sweet. Oh, she means everything to this kingdom, Alexander, and to me. I'm so terribly worried about her.
About her grief over her parents, you mean?
Well, the truth is, I do not trust the Wazir or his plans for Cosima. I'm still living at the Castle of the Crown as court clown, his clown. But it is more to keep my ear to the ground than out of loyalty. I wish I knew what the princess thinks these days. If only I could find Sing Sing, Cosima's pet nightingale. I might be able to send the princess a message. As it is, I must wait for the end of her seclusion.
What can you tell me about the Wazir?
The Wazir? Now there's a dangerous subject. His name is Abdul Al-Hazred. He came to the kingdom 15 years ago. The king was fascinated by his knowledge and his fine-sounding ideas. It didn't take long for Al-Hazred to convince the king to trust him with the minor problems of daily government. You see, Caliphim had a wife and a new daughter he wanted to spend time with. Al-Hazred became Wazir.
And now?
Well, he's had his eye on Cosima ever since she was a young girl. And she is the only thing between him and the throne.
Do you think he means to harm her?
Oh, I honestly don't know. I think he'd rather keep her as wife. But whatever his plans for the princess, he will use her to his best advantage. That's his way.
Perhaps he has charmed her. Perhaps she cares for him now.
The Wazir is capable of anything, and Cassima must be vulnerable and lonely right now. Still, she has always instinctively distrusted him. Cassima has a good head on her shoulders. I'd be surprised if she's truly fallen for his words of love. Now I must return to the castle. Look, I don't want to arouse suspicion. I'll try to meet you here again later.
Thank you for the information, Jallo. Be very careful.
Alexander doesn't remember that sign being on the wall before. He decides to take a closer look. It's a proclamation. It reads, "Citizens rejoice," announcing the royal wedding and coronation of Wazir Abdul Al-Hazred and Princess Cassima. For reasons of security, the wedding will not be open to the public. Long live the new king and queen of the land of the Green Isles. Alexander feels his stomach turn at the thought of the dread event. If he doesn't do something soon, Cassima will be another man's wife.
Dang, Jallo, you are slow. How far does it go?
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Checkmate! Only chess pieces allowed in chessboard land. That's right. Humans aren't allowed in and never will be. Stay out!
I must insist, Your Highness. I shall send the lump of coal to the Wazir and the Princess as a present for their wedding, and that's the end of it.
And I suppose you'll leave me with only this stupid spoiled egg to send, Your Highness. I want to impress the new king and queen of the realm as much as you do. As queen of this island, I have every right to that lump of coal.
Who isn't queen of this isle? The lump of coal is in my possession. Therefore, I shall do as I please with it. Besides, there's nothing wrong with that spoiled egg.
The egg, though delightfully spoiled, is not nearly so valuable as the lump
Hello
of
to
coal,
my 3
and
viewers.
you know it. Your Highness always got to carry the singing stone. It's not fair that you get the coal, too.
That doesn't count. The singing stone was stolen by that horrid beast. I should get to keep the coal just because my stone was stolen.
It wasn't your stone. It belonged to the Isle of Wonder treasury. Your Highness always thinks that everything is hers.
Excuse me, my good man, but could you settle an argument for us?
Which of us should get to carry the coal and which the egg? Remember, white is the color of deserving truth and virtue.
Quiet, Your Highness, and let him make up his own mind. I, for one, shall be more proper, and not even mention the fact that red is the color of love.
I'm sorry, Your Majesties. I'm partial to both red and white, but I'm afraid that I don't know how to solve your problem. One of you will just have to be gracious and allow the other the lump of coal.
What a ridiculously stupid idea.
Quite ludicrous.
He was a lot of help, wasn't he?
Oh, yes. Obviously a man of high intelligence. The lump of coal goes much better with my gown anyway. Black and red are imperial colors.
Ottawa Senator colors.
That's the silliest thing I ever heard. Red does not go with anything, being much too self-conscious. White is the perfect accompaniment to any color.
Alexander.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize these books had an owner. I'm in need of a rare book.
No owner? All books have owners, my good man. And this book owner, Bookworm to you, wouldn't part with one of his books for anything.
Isn't there something I can do for you to pay for the book?
Let's see. Do you have an itinerant clause?
No. No clauses at all, I'm afraid.
As an exception, you always should.
Don't mind oxymoron and diphthong. They're fairly limited grammatical principles, you know. Let's see. A marsh pig that does Texas?
No. I'm afraid not.
A dangling participle?
I'm fresh out.
A purple fiddle whacker?
No, I don't think so. Sorry.
An idiosyncrasy, perhaps?
Afraid not.
Ha! Then what good are you?
Now where we can get a dangling participle.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Hello, friend. Aren't you an odd-looking little fellow?
I'm not. Odd-looking you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you could speak.
Speak not. Funny is, speech I am and nothing but.
You speak strangely, friend.
Strange, my speech is not. Eloquence I speak with.
But who are you? And why are you here?
Away I fly my home from. Lost I am therefore. As my name too, can you guess not? It's what I do this branch with, and the way I speak of.
A dangling participle.
Alexander holds the sentence out to the creature.
This sentence seems in need of an ending. Perhaps you could finish it?
Where are you going? Where are you going? Know what I do? Where are you going to? Like you I do. Go I with you?
Well, that was certainly interesting. It looks like Alexander now has a passenger. Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Do you have anything interesting yet?
I do.
A regular abnormality?
Let me see what I have.
That's an oxymoron. Oh. That's good. That is really, really, really good.
I found this little fellow lost on another island.
Coming home I am too.
There you are, you naughty boy. I told you not to leave the island.
Glad I am seeing you too.
A most solemn celebration.
So, you found my dangling participles. I
so-
suppose I'll have to give you something. Let's see now. Was it a rare book you wanted?
Yes, sir.
Well, then none of these will do. They've been sitting in the sun far too long and must be well cooked by now. This one is far more rare. A delicious little tidbit.
Thanks.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
Oh, need to change books.
I found this rare book, and I thought of your offer.
Very interesting. Oh, it is a wonderful riddle book. Riddles are much more marketable than spells these days. I guess people believe more in mirth than in magic. Here is the spell book you wanted, and a fair trade it is, I must say. Enjoy it.
I certainly hope so. We shall see how rusty my spellcasting truly is.
He was a spellcaster. He turned a wizard into a cat. Let's get this here.
Alexander winds the mechanical nightingale and places it on the ground. The mechanical nightingale sings a sweet, tinny tune. The real nightingale in the tree cocks her head and listens intently. The nightingale flies to a lower branch and looks at Alexander curiously, as if she were deciding that this human might not be so bad.
Need to get the flute.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
Would you mind if I traded this in?
Of course, Prince Alex. Please choose something in exchange for the items on the counter.
Alexander looks closely at the items on the counter to make his selection.
I'll take the flute.
The flute? Very good, Prince Alex. May its music always be sweet. Feel free to trade it back at any time.
Thank you.
I know what's with the flute.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Teacup.
Alexander takes the teacup.
May I have this dance?
Oh, my!
Alexander stops playing the flute, but the wallflowers and snapdragons continue to dance, caught up in the music and oblivious to everything around them. While the wallflowers dance, Alexander snatches the hole in the wall. Alexander is carrying a book from the bookshop. The cover says, Ye Old Spell Book.
Swamp ooze.
Alexander carefully reads the instructions for a spell entitled Magic Paint Spell.
This looks like swamp ooze right here.
What do you think you're doing?
You startled me. I was just getting some swamp ooze.
Well, you certainly won't get it there! That's not swamp ooze! That's swamp sludge!
He's right, you know. But he could be a little nicer about telling you. He's not a very pleasant stick in the mud.
Nobody asked you! Be quiet!
Oh, the trials of being a mere bump on a log.
Who are you?
I'm Bump on a Log, and that's my brother, Stick in the Mud. We've had this thing about each other ever since our childhood. Mom always liked me best.
She did not! That is absolutely not true!
He's a bit lazy, you see. He's got the only swamp ooze in the swamp right next to him. But do you think he'd move a finger to help you get some? Hardly. He'd try to brain you with it more than likely. His temper's about the only thing that ever gets a workout, and that on yours truly.
Oh, like you've moved at all in the last century! Like you're Mr. Physical Activity!
Just because I can't reach anything, he thinks he can throw gushy swamp matter at me and just say whatever he likes. If only I could turn the tables on that heckler, he might learn some respect. But as you can see, I'm a mere bump on a log and must be content with my lot.
Oh, shut up! You couldn't hit the broadside of a barn even if you had something to throw! Just shut up!
You see how he is?
I'll give you something to throw.
I thought this might come in handy the next time your brother starts picking on you.
Aha! Finally, old Bump on the Log's not so defenseless, is he?
Hey! Hey! What are you doing there? Watch the pulp, would you?
Now, Bumpy, remember all I've given you! The only thing you've ever given me is mud. Take this!
No! Not into the swamp!
Hey, okay, I give up. Geez, sorry.
Well, I guess it's not very pleasant having things thrown at you. I'm sorry. You mean it? Really? Brother? Brother!
Stick in the Mud and Bump on a Log, exhausted from the battle, immediately doze off into naps. Rotten Tomato, being equally lazy, decides to join them.
Very good, very good. So we're going to use this here.
Alexander fills the teacup with the swamp ooze.
I've already got the book. So, gotta go back and get the
Alexander
tinderbox.
pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
Alrighty, gonna need the tinderbox for where I'm
Would
going.
you mind if I traded this in?
Of course, Prince Alex. Please choose something in exchange for the items on the counter.
Alexander looks closely at the items on the counter to make his selection.
I believe I'll take the tinderbox.
Very good, Prince Alex. Enjoy your tinderbox and bring it back anytime.
Thank you.
Alrighty. I've already given the ring to Jallo, so that'll help out in the future.
Alexander holds out his insignia ring to the Nightingale, hoping she perhaps is the Nightingale that Jallo spoke of, and that she might be able to take the ring to Cosima. The ring is the one thing he has that might alert Cosima to his presence on the Isles. The Nightingale swoops down and grabs the ring. She flies off towards the castle, perhaps to Cosima.
Sing Sing, what have you got in your mouth, my pretty? A gold ring? Sing Sing, where did you get this? Realm of Daventry. But this is Alexander's ring. Oh, my soul, he must be here. Sing Sing, I wish you could tell me what you've seen. Is he really here then, on this very island? Oh, if only I could leave this castle as easily as you. Take this ribbon, Sing Sing. If you know where he is, return it to him. Please be careful, Alexander. It is so dangerous, and yet I could not wish you away.
The little bird makes a delivery.
Ready?
It's a red velvet hair ribbon. Could it be? Could it possibly belong to Cosima herself?
Or am I merely wishing it were so? Oh.
Well, let's just give this poem here.
Alexander holds out the love poem, hoping that the bird will deliver it to the same place she took the ring, in the chance that the receiver might truly be Cosima. The Nightingale swoops down, grabs the love poem, and takes it towards the castle.
Sing Sing, my sweet, you bring another present. Let me see. It is a poem, Sing Sing.
What was it when I looked at you? What power has chained me through and through? and binds my heart with links so tight, I cannot live without the sight of you.
Oh, Alexander. I was hoping he'd return to you. Take this to him while he waits. Hurry, my fleet one.
Goodness.
The little bird makes a delivery. It's a note.
Dearest Alexander, I cannot believe you are here, my friend. Please, please be careful. Abdul isn't about to let anyone interfere with his plans. Watch out for Abdul's genie, Alexander, and do not do anything rash. I am not without resources, and I will prevail if I can only find some small means of defense. Do nothing to try to get to me. You must not be endangered again for my sake. Greatly in your family's debt, Cassima.
Alexander's hand trembles as he reads the note. For the first time in his long search, he has heard her voice again, if only in writing. No words of love, only friendly concern. Friend. Is the maiden merely shy, or does she regard him only as a brother?
Alrighty, let's get...
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Let's see here.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Hour and a half, I think this might be a good time to actually quit. And I believe what I need to do is this before we solve the Cliffs of Logic. Because I think, let's see here. You definitely need this. We got the red scarf. Got the tinderbox. And got the brick. These are all the important things that we need. So I'm going to go ahead and call this Rat 1. And I am going to quit for the evening. So everybody, good night, sweet dreams. Take care. Happy streaming to anybody else out there.